welcome to my video. My name's Anne-Marie and I'm going to show you today how I repair my dog's toys. I have 3 Bichon Frises who love to tear apart dog toys, especially pulling out the stuffing and wrecking the squeakers. Okay, I'll send a picture here so you can see how cute they are. I have 3 Bichon Frises, yeah, but they can be terrors. All right, so hence the fact that I repair a lot of their toys, especially their favourite ones, quite often. Anyway, all right, what you'll need for, if you want to have a go at doing this yourself, is you'll need a sewing needle, of course, some cotton. This is just regular cotton, but I use a nylon thread. This one is, was it I forget what it's, M60 weight. So this is actually on my domestic machine. I can use it fine on my domestic machine. The other one I have, I think, M40, which I can only use on my industrial machine because it's a really heavy weight. If I'm making a bag or something like that, that's what you need, because you don't want to just use regular cotton making something like that because it'll fall apart. And that's why I use this for the dog toys, because it makes it harder for them to break it apart. You may need some extra stuffing, like here, this wing, whatever you want to call it, is missing, so I'm going to fill that, and then just a pair of scissors. Okay, so to start with, what I'm going to do with this toy is I've got a bit of scrap fleece here, and I'm going to actually cover the squeaker with that, just to give it a bit extra, so that when they're chewing on it, maybe it might last longer. I have not done this before. I've seen somebody else do it and I thought, yep, that's a good idea, especially when, I do this quite often. So I'm going to take this to the machine and I'll sew around. Okay, so here we are at my machine, and I'm just going to sew around here. You don't have to do this. This is just something that I want to do for mine. It's not, it's not necessary. You don't have to do it. So just quickly do this. Okay, and I'll just snip off my ends there, like that. So I've got this, and I'm just going to put this straight into the toy. Okay, now that I have my squeaker encased in this fleece, I'm going to pop it in here, and we made a little hole. I want it to be in the middle, so have some fluff on the outside of it, or stuffing I should say, like that. Then I'm going to take my thread, my nylon thread, and I'll snip a bit off. I don't go too long because I end up getting knots and things, and it's just easier to manage when it's smaller. So I'm going to thread that, and needles are easier to thread if there's a white background behind you, if you're having trouble. Then I make a knot, and the way I do the knot at the end is I grab onto the end of the thread like that, like that, and then I roll it around, and then you just roll it off, and it sort of rolls up and it makes a little knot like that. Well, that's probably too small. That will just pull straight through. So I'm going to try and do it again. And you can lick your finger. It sometimes gets you a nicer grip and you can get a better knot like that. So that might still be a bit small. Oh, yeah. This feels bigger, better. Yeah, so that size knot is probably what we're looking for in this case. Okay, like that. Hope you can see that. All right, now what we do is we take our toy, and you want to come in from underneath in the seam area there somewhere. So about 1 centimetre back from where it's opening from, and pull that through. And you just want to make a little tug on your cotton like that, just to make sure that it's secure in place. Now what we're going to do is called a ladder stitch, sometimes called the invisible stitch, because you won't be able to see it when it's finished. So it doesn't really matter what colour cotton, and because it's a dog's toy, I'm not particularly worried about the colour of the cotton either. So to do this, I always work from my from my right to left. I don't come back this way, I'm working that way. It's just because this is, I don't know, the way I do it. I have seen people do it the other way. I just find it really looks very confusing to me. But anyway, the way you do this is you want to take a chunk from each side and sort of opposite each other. So I'm going to start back here where it's already got the cotton still there. I'm going to just pull that tight, and I'm just going to take a chunk. It's like a little chunk. I don't know, how would that be, about 1/2 centimetre, and then pull that through. Then what you do is totally on the opposite side, exactly where you came up from that one, you want to come down and take another chunk about the same size. And if you see here, you can see where it was previously sewn. This was in the seam. This is the seam allowance here. So you can go with that. So I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to take another chunk about 1/2 centimetre and then pull that through. Now you don't have to pull it too tight yet. You'll see what I mean as we go along. Now this seam allowance on this side is sort of bent under, but that doesn't matter because I'm just going to take from this side and I'm going to go directly opposite and do the same thing. So I'm just going to take another little chunk, about 1 centimetre, I mean 1/2 centimetre, and pull. Then I'm going to do the same again on this side. So I'm just going directly opposite, down, and 1/2 centimetre, and the same again. So directly opposite, down, and about 1 centimetre. Now it doesn't matter how big you do these. You don't want them too big because obviously you're going to have gaps. Too small just takes too long, but they don't have to be even. Like I could do this one really tiny like that, but then I've got to remember when I go on this side I have to go tiny on that side because you're going to go opposite what you've done. So I'll go back and make that 1 centimetre. Now there's my cotton there, thread. Now if I pull on this, you'll see that it closes up, and that's why they call it the invisible stitch. So it's like a ladder. You're making a ladder with the rungs of the ladder up, and when you pull it, it becomes invisible. Okay, so I'm just going to go along and do the rest of this, and I'll probably speed this up in the video so you don't have to watch, but we'll go again. I'll show you this bit and then I might speed it up. Okay, so we go opposite where we were, directly over, in, and about 1/2 centimetre. Do the same again on this side, so completely opposite, 1 centimetre. 1/2 centimetre, why do I keep saying 1 centimetre? This has been one of them days. Okay, now we're back again. Now when you come to the end here, sometimes I'll even go past the end quite a bit. It just strengthens it. So, and if you've got the seam there, you can just go right on the edge where the seam would be, like that. Oops, it's gone around. This way it goes past where the broken part was, and hopefully won't make it break again. I'll just go one more And it doesn't matter how small they get now. And as you see, when you pull, it pulls it all together, and you can't see where that stitch is, or was, or is, whichever the way you say it is. Okay, now we're just going to make a little knot here. All I do is take a small bite out of the material somewhere, pull it through, don't get caught on the arm, like that. And when I've got a little loop left like that, I'll just put the needle through it and pull up through, and that just creates a little knot. I'll do that again, so through a little bit around the arm. Okay, so I've got a little hole there, loop, go through the hoop, loop, and there I've got a nice tight knot. Then what you do is you put your needle down through there where you are, bring it out somewhere else on your project, pull it a bit, tug it a bit, and look, if you had the same colour you wouldn't even see that, but because we've got black, I'm going to have a little black dot there, but I don't think my dogs will mind. Okay, so then I take the thread, I pull it a little bit through, and then I snip it, and then it goes back in underneath, so you won't see that part there. So that's that bit done. Now I'm going to stuff a little bit of the stuffing here in the arm to fill it up. Just pop it in there with my finger and push it down through in there. And you won't need much, and just a little bit more up the top there, I think, and like what you'd call the shoulder of the, yeah, so just up in there. Okay, now we're going to do a similar thing here to attach this to back onto here. Okay, so I'll get my thread. What do I do with my needle? That's what the pin cushion's for, Anne-Marie. What have I done with it? All right, I'll be back in a tick. Okay, I'm back again. I found my needle on the floor, of course. All right, so I threaded it and made myself a new knot. And it's the same sort of thing here that we're going to do. So I'm just going to come in from behind, pull that a bit. Okay, up like that. That's the same sort of thing. It's taking a little bit from each side, so a little bit from this side, a little bit from that side. So we're on this side, so now I'm going to move over to this side. So I'm going to take that 1/2 centimetre chunk out of there and pull, and roughly where it's going to sit on this side here, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the chunk out of that side and pull through. So we're approximately opposite there. Take another chunk, and again on the opposite side here, on this side. So if I stick to try and do them at about 1/2 centimetre, because I can't sort of really go opposite like you can on a straight line, if I stick to 1/2 centimetre, hopefully it'll work out okay. It's not an exact science, this, it's just, you know, making them not so big that they fall apart and not too small that it just takes you forever to do. Okay, and the beauty of it is you can stretch it out and tighten it up so you can see where you're at if you need be. Okay, so I'm on this side, I'm going to go across, take a chunk out of the arm. Oops. And then a little bit under the arm. This is a little bit more awkward. And look, if I could sit down and have it next to me close would be a lot easier than trying to do it on the camera, but it's doable. So chunk from this side, chunk from this side, all the way around the arm. There. Here we go. I don't know if you can hear my daughter talking to my dogs, telling them that they're beautiful. I can hear her, I don't know if you can. Okay, I'm nearly there at the end. And there. Pull up the needle. But what I am going to do with this one is I'm going to actually go all the way around, because this may loosen, you know, the old stitching. So do that. Now here where it is already stitched, I'm just going to go really close to the seam allowance that's been there. Oh, my dog's scratching on the, or one of them scratching on the door now. Okay, there. So I think we're pretty much around to where we started. Like that. Now I'm going to pull, and then it's going to pull all of that in. Yep. So I'm happy with that. Pull it firm. I'm going to do the same as what I did up here. I'm going to take a tiny chunk of the fabric, leave it till I've got a little loop, go through the loop, creates a knot, do it again, loop, loop through the loop, always gets caught on something, pull it through, take the needle and put it down, come out somewhere on the project, tug a little bit, cut, because then when you tug it, it pulls it out a bit, and then when you cut it, it pulls it back into the project. So yep, there you go, arms back on like new. Then I go where these old cottons were, and I'll go over it and cut them off, because the dogs, I don't know, they seem to find them, and then they know where to pull, or where the weak bits are to get the stuffing out. They love getting the stuffing out. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that's it. That's how I repair my dog toys. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you learnt something. If you did, might consider liking and subscribing. Got any questions or anything, you can leave me a comment. And see you next time. Bye for now.